all of a sudden when Taylor Swift's, on TV mouthing the words to your songs and all of that and saying, oh, I wish I could work with Kendrick Lamar and all of this, that shit's mind-blowing to a kid from Compton who, I mean, no one was banking on you. Your parents were living, where did they live before they moved to California?
Chicago, Southside Chicago.
Chicago. Was your dad in a gang or something?
Yeah, he's affiliated.
He was affiliated. So your dad's in a gang, and your mom, they decide to move to Compton,
right?
And all they got is a garbage bag filled with like 2 bags of clothing.
Yeah.
And they moved to Compton, and before you were born, your dad worked at KFC, right? And your mom worked at McDonald's. How do you avoid getting into the gang lifestyle in Compton when your dad is not telling you it's a bad thing?
Well, he's actually telling me, but you know the saying.
You got to find out for yourself.
Dear.
Is that what he said?
Do as I say, not as I do. You know, one of them things. But he gave me the reality of it. But as a man, and as what he taught me as a man, you have to go through things. You have to see for yourself. He could tell me everything in the world, but I'm still gonna go out there and get my hands dirty. I think it was really the act of my mother being a dreamer. So they gave me that duality. They gave me that balance.
Did you feel unsafe to the point that I'm surprised you were a straight A student? You were a good student.
I was a cool
in school.
student.
You were a really good student.
I was a good student.
And I think in that environment, it's almost impossible to keep your mind on studies when you're sitting there and seeing people getting shot in the street. It's almost a miracle if you can be a good student.
Yeah, definitely.
And by good student, I mean straight A student.
I was decent. I wouldn't say straight A's. I'll say straight. We on it.
So it came easily. Did other kids goof on you?
No.
Because you were straight A student? Because I grew up in a pretty bad place. And if you excelled at school, kids would make fun of you.
Yeah.
Which is another crazy thing for learning.
Right. Yeah, that is funny. And I know about that too, because the thing with me with school is I was way more intelligent than the actual work I put out, because
you keep it down.
I had to tone it down. I knew how far I can excel if I put my focus and everything into it. But I was part of the cool kids, and you have your influence. You want to do other things, but I knew how far I can go if I put my work ethic into it. So I took that same mistake and I applied it with music years later, because I knew if I put my focus in this, I can excel.
This guy, Dawg, he has his own record company, right? And he's the guy who signed you.
Yeah.
And you get upset when he is compared to a Suge Knight, because you see a difference between Dawg and Suge Knight, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Suge Knight gets this rap that he was, gangster and, and maybe taking advantage of people and all this. And and people want to compare Dawg to this guy.
Yeah, I think because the physical image, he's a big guy. He has a red hat,
right.
And of course you can't stop being affiliated, but we don't have the same tactics.
Right.
Not at all. We're professional, we're businessmen, and we love what we do. And to risk that in any type of violent nature or physical contact, that's something
you don't want to be a part of that.
We put that behind us years ago. No.
When Dawg was in his roughest days, when he was like the gangs, there's a story that goes, and tell me again, because I find this mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Your dad was working at KFC.
Yep.
Dawg went in to rob KFC. Is this right? Because you've written songs about this.
Yeah.
And he meets your father. And Dawg's got a gun. Your dad somehow thinks, I don't want to get into any shit with this guy. I'm going to charm him. I'll even offer him some free KFC. And maybe, right, and maybe he'll, won't get violent. And Dawg liked your father.
True story.
And did not rob the KFC because of your dad. And now you're working with Dawg.
Funny how life is, right?
Isn't that weird?
Yeah,
that is the craziest story I've ever heard.
No, it is the craziest story.
Yeah.
Have you sat with Dawg and said, what the fuck?
Yeah, man. It's still mine. Every time they come around each other, my pops and Dawg, it's mind blowing, because they have to bring it up. They just sit and just look at each other. It's a trip. Whoever knew that this little kid that was in the back store while you was flipping grease and chicken wings, 20 years later, you know, he'll be sitting in the same studio, you know, and it always goes around to the fact of the point is, okay, what if, you know, he did take my father's life?
Oh,
I'd
my
have been
God.
another, you know, I probably wouldn't be in the studio. I wouldn't be
Right.
right here with y'all right now. I'd be messed up because it's a psychological thing when you don't have a father at home, especially growing up in the environment we come from.
But
Oh,
especially, you know, reading, you know, how you had a conversion later on and became more spiritual. With a life going like this, you can see how you would become spiritual because these are the kind of things that usually go the wrong way.
Yeah, definitely. I can't take that for granted.
Yeah.